Hello students, this video is especially for group 2 and the purpose of this video is to show you how to solve quadratic equations factoring using the double setup. On your worksheets, please look at example number 1 and copy the notes and try this problem with me as you watch the video. Feel free to pause whenever you need to. Your first problem looks like this. Your instructions are to solve this quadratic by factoring. So here are some steps. Step number 1, make the y equal 0. Anytime you're asked to solve a quadratic, they're asking you for the x-intercept, which means you make the y equal to 0 and you solve for x. So the first thing you need to do is put a 0 in the y spot. Step number 2, factor using the double setup. What is the double setup? The double setup is just a little formula you use on every problem that looks like this. It goes something like this. Something times something equals the last number. Those something plus something equals the middle number. In this problem, the last number is 15 and the middle number is 8. What times what can give you 15? Well, there are a couple of combinations. 15 times 1 equals 15, but 3 times 5 also equals 15. So which one of these partnerships will work in this problem? That's where this bottom piece comes in. Of these two partnerships, which one will give you 8 if you add them up? Hopefully you're thinking 3 times 5, because if you add it up, 3 plus 5, that gives you 8. So the missing pieces of the puzzle are 3 and 5. The next step is to write this in parenthesis format. The problem has an x in it, so your answer has to have an x in it. So what you do next is you put your answers in parentheses. Because a positive 3 worked, you're going to go x plus 3. And because this 5 is positive, you're going to put x plus 5. Your next step is to make each piece equal to 0 and solve these separate from each other. So I put x plus 3 over here, and you could ignore the parentheses, and you want to get x by itself. Who is bothering the x? The plus 3 is. How do you get rid of a plus 3? You subtract 3. Whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other. X is now alone, and x equals negative 3. That is one of your answers. These questions have 2 answers. So to get the other answer, you do the same thing, but with this x plus 5 piece. You make that piece equal to 0, and you do the same steps. You might find that you can just do a shortcut and do it in your head. You just switch the sign. X is going to equal negative 5. But here's the work if you need to see it. The opposite of plus 5 is minus 5. Cancel it out. X equals negative 5. So here are your 2 answers. X equals negative 3 and x equals negative 5. And you're done. Let's try one more problem. The next problem is going to have negatives, which make it a little bit tougher. Please take a look at example 2 on your worksheet and follow along with me as I show you how to do it. So here's example 2. Notice that I have a negative in here. And so that's going to change the way you have to look at this a little bit. The first step is always the same. Make the y equal 0. The next step is also the same. You're going to factor using the double setup. Remember, something times something equals the last number. In this problem, it's a 12. Something plus something equals the middle number. In this example, the middle number is negative 7. So you start with the top and you ask yourself, what times what gives me 12? Well, how many partnerships are there? Well, there's a few on this one. 12 times 1 equals 12. 2 times 6 equals 12. And 3 times 4 also equals 12. Ask yourself, of these three partnerships, which one can I add or subtract since there's a negative? Which one of these can I add or subtract to give me 7? The only thing that can give me 7 is this last partnership because 3 plus 4 is 7. So it must be 3 and 4. But I have a problem here because 3 plus 4 is positive 7, but I need a negative 7. So what can I do to fix this? What would happen if I made both of these negative? Well, I'd have to make the top negative also. Does it work on the top? What's a negative times a negative? Yeah, that equals a positive 12. What happens if you owe $3 and then you owe $4 more? Well, then yes, you'll owe 7. This works. It works on the top and it works on the bottom. So my next step is to write this with the parentheses. Now, because it's a negative 3, my answer is going to have a minus 3. So I'm going to write x minus 3. And because this is a negative 4, I'm going to write x minus 4. Our next step is to solve both of these separately. And again, you don't have to show your work on this part. You can just do it in your head. Switch the sign. X is going to be positive 3 and x is going to equal positive 4. But I'll show you the steps anyway. So the opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. These cancel out and x equals positive 3. Then we take the other parentheses, the x minus 4, and to get rid of the minus 4, we do plus 4. They cancel out, and so x equals positive 4. And we're done. Please try the practice problems on your worksheet, check your answers, and I hope this video was helpful. Thank you.